Okay, let's get into it. We have a deep dive today that takes us straight back to the breakfast table. But not just any breakfast table. We're looking at what seems to be a foundational cultural pillar, a product that goes way beyond just being food.
It's about ritual, isn't it? And this incredible, almost fanatical brand loyalty.
Exactly. We are talking about Dan Druff's Flakey Flakes.
And what's so great about this is how our source material just lays it all out. We're not guessing here. We're not looking at, dry industry reports.
No, not at all.
Our entire analysis is built from one single source. The transcript of The Saggy and Limpy Show, episode 954.
Which was titled, appropriately, Dan Druff's Flakey Flakes.
Right. That plus the official ad copy they discussed. It's a complete ecosystem.
That's the key, This isn't some broad market survey. It's a very deep, very specific look at one brand, but seen through the eyes of its most passionate fans.
Saggy and Limpy.
And the community that calls into their show. We really are indebted to the Saggy and Limpy Show for letting us feature this transcript. It's like a perfect little window into the history, the very unique sensory features, and just the incredible devotion this stuff commands.
So our mission today is to go beyond just summarizing what they said. We really need to unpack it.
Yeah, dig in.
We have to get into the specific, and let's be honest, kind of bizarre details of the product itself, and then try to understand what that loyalty is all about. What makes this thing so culturally immovable?
And before we even get to the taste or the smell or the texture, and believe me, we will get there, we have to start with the foundation.
The slogan.
The slogan. The core identity that Saggy and Limpy kept coming back to. The one plastered right on that yellow box. 100% pure.
It's everything. Saggy really hammers this home. He says pure is the word. Remember that big slogan right on the front of the box? 100% pure.
And that phrase, 100% pure, it's not just marketing fluff, is it? It feels more like a promise, an identity that really dictates the whole consumer experience.
It absolutely anchors the loyalty we're going to see because it suggests integrity. It suggests that they've never wavered, never compromised.
So to really get this, we have to use the mandated definition of pure that frames this whole deep dive.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's defined as not mixed or adulterated with any other substance or material, without any extraneous and unnecessary elements.
Okay, so that is critical. That's the lens for everything that follows.
Right.
Because if this cereal is truly 100% pure by that definition, unadulterated, no extra stuff, then every single characteristic, no matter how strange.
And some of them are pretty strange.
They have to be a natural result of those core pure ingredients. The flavor, the smell, the texture, all of it. It has to come from that unmixed state.
And that's where the whole thing gets so interesting. It's this paradox that drives the whole conversation. Yeah. Saggy puts it perfectly. He says, they didn't mess around with artificial anything. Just honest, wholesome Dan Druff's Flakey Flakes.
That's the bedrock.
Yes. That's the claim of unwavering quality. And you, listening, you need to hold on to that idea as we go forward, because we're about to describe a breakfast cereal with some truly astonishing sensory characteristics.
It sets an incredibly high bar. Purity makes you think of simplicity, maybe something delicate. Yeah. And now we have to somehow reconcile that idea of simplicity with this robust, pungent, and frankly, very unusual product.
Okay, let's start where the journey begins for any consumer. The grocery store shelf.
The box.
The box. According to Limpy, the branding is all about two things, the packaging and the mascot. And he calls the box itself unassuming.
That word unassuming, I think that's so telling.
How so?
Well, think about a modern cereal aisle. It's an explosion of color, of mascots jumping out at you, high-gloss graphics.
Total sensory overload.
Exactly. So a simple, unassuming yellow box. That's almost an anti-marketing strategy. It's quiet. It suggests the product doesn't need to scream for attention.
Yeah.
It just relies on this, inherited trust.
It's like a quiet confidence. The box is just a container for the pure stuff inside. But then, that simplicity is immediately contrasted with the mascot.
Ah, the goofy kid.
The goofy kid. Limpy's description is so vivid. He says, that goofy-looking kid on the front with his perfectly combed hair and that big smile.
So the mascot is the brand's ambassador, right? He's the visual for what the product is all about. And that description, perfectly combed hair, big smile, it suggests something wholesome, maybe even a little old-fashioned.
A bit, yeah. Clean cut, reliable.
But Limpy's analysis goes so much deeper than just what the kid looks like. He doesn't just see a picture. He sees knowledge in that smile.
Yes, this is the quote. He says very specifically, he looked like he knew something special.
And that's profound. The goofy kid isn't just smiling because he enjoys his breakfast.
Yeah.
He's smiling because he knows the secret of the breakfast. He's the gatekeeper. He is the physical embodiment of that pure feeling Limpy was talking about. He represents the loyal customer who's in on it.
Saggy backs this up. He says, he knew the joy of a bowl of Dan Druff's Flakey Flakes. So the branding, with its simple box and its knowing mascot, it communicates both reliability and this kind of secret shared joy.
It's a very intimate way to market something.
And that circle of trust brings us right back to the purity promise. It connects the consumer's faith directly to the company's official messaging.
Because Saggy's belief that the cereal is honest and wholesome isn't just a feeling he has.
No, it's directly backed up by the company. You look at the ad copy, and it confirms it word for word, 100% pure quality. We never mess around with artificial fillers.
It's not even subtle. They're just repeating what their core customers already believe.
Which creates this unbreakable bond. You trust the product hasn't been changed, hasn't been cheapened for modern tastes, and the company promises it by telling you what's not in the box.
Right. No artificial fillers. So all your attention is focused only on what is in there, the pure stuff.
Okay, so now let's look at how the brand actually talks about itself in that first ad they played on the Saggy and Limpy show. Because this ad, it immediately shifts the focus from what the product is to what it does.
Yes. It pivots entirely to performance, to longevity. The ad opens with this challenge to the consumer. It says, "Are you tired of breakfast that disappears the moment you swallow? Switch to the cereal that stays with you."
Which is such a brilliant callback to Saggy's own childhood. He said his mom used to say it was the only cereal that truly stuck with you all day.
So the marketing is just taking family folklore and making it official. It's validating the experience people have had for generations.
This idea of persistence, of staying with you, is
Yeah.
so critical because it links directly to the product's main distinguishing feature.
The muskiness.
Yes. And listen to the language the ad uses. It claims the flakes are harvested for maximum muskiness.
Harvested for maximum muskiness. I mean,
You don't hear that every day.
no. It implies this is a deliberate, almost agricultural process. The muskiness isn't an accident. It's the entire goal.
Exactly. It suggests that every single step, from growing the ingredients to processing them, is engineered specifically to maximize this one sensory trait.
It turns what could be seen as a negative into the primary feature, a marker of its authenticity.
And the ad wraps it all up by tying it to your identity. It says you deserve a breakfast that's as authentic as you are.
Right. So authenticity is linked directly to the pure, unadulterated state of the product, which means it's linked to its intense, musky character.
It's a package deal.
Yeah.
If you want the real thing, you have to embrace everything that comes with it.
Okay, so we've arrived, the epicenter of this whole thing. We have to talk about the elephant in the bowl.
We do. The thing that absolutely defines Dan Druff's Flakey Flakes. The intense, robust aroma and flavor.
Saggy leads right with it. He says it had a very pungent flavor and smell.
Pungent, that's a strong word. It's not subtle, it's not mild.
No, it means sharp, penetrating. It immediately goes against that idea of pure being something delicate or neutral.
And Limpy confirms this intensity. His memory of it defined his whole house in the morning. He says, it had a distinct musky scent that filled the whole house. Nothing else smelled quite like it.
Filled the whole house. So it's pervasive, it's lasting. When you open that box, the smell didn't just stay in the kitchen. It became the olfactory signature for the start of your day.
And then we get to the comparison. The one that I think is the key to this whole thing.
Oh, this is the best part.
Saggy compares the scent to a locker room, but in a good way.
A locker room, which, I mean, that forces you, the listener, to completely reconsider what good can even mean at breakfast time.
Right. A locker room smells like intensity, sweat, effort. It's a robust, natural post-workout smell.
To call that good suggests that you're equating that intensity with something wholesome, something natural. It's the opposite of a sugary, artificial smell.
It reframes the whole experience. It's not a light, processed start to the day.
Yeah.
It's a breakfast that is grounding, palpable. It gets you ready for exertion. It's the smell of honest, pure energy.
And once again, the ad copy proves this was intentional. They're not hiding from this. They celebrate it. The ad promises that natural, musky scent that fills the kitchen.
They're marketing the atmosphere, not just the taste.
And then, speaking of the taste, the ad says the product provides a robust, musky flavor and musky presence that stays with you all day.
So that musky presence is the thing that delivers on the stays with you promise. It is physically and sensorially persistent.
So if the flavor and scent are the core identity, what's the delivery mechanism?
The texture.
Yeah.
And this is another area where Dan Druff's Flaky Flakes just completely subverts expectations. Forget crunch.
Yeah, there's no loud, crisp, fleeting crunch here. Here, chewiness is the ultimate virtue.
Saggy was so specific about this, about the flakes' structural integrity in milk. He said they held up in milk, and then he adds, you could let them sit for hours, come back, and they still had that delightful chew.
Hours. I mean, most cereals are just mush in, 5 minutes?
It's that.
The fact that these things can maintain their structure for hours, it suggests an incredible density. The material has to be so pure, so free from fillers, that it just doesn't absorb the milk quickly.
Limpy's summary was perfect. Chewy, white, and satisfying.
It's the exact opposite of the modern breakfast paradigm, where everything is about speed and convenience. This is a product that rewards patience.
You get to control the pace of your own breakfast.
And, of course, the company leans into this. The ad copy directly attacks the competition on this point. It says, while others focus on crunch, we provide an immediate, delightful gummy chew that holds up in milk.
They're targeting people who find that fleeting crunch to be unsatisfying. They're taking the word gummy, which is usually a flaw, and they're presenting it as this delightful, superior sensation.
Right. It implies this high concentration of the pure base ingredient, which is what gives it that substantial, resistant quality.
We have to talk about that word gummy.
Yeah.
It means it has elasticity, resistance. You have to work at it. It doesn't just dissolve.
Which guarantees the experience lasts longer.
It's the physical proof of that stay-with-you quality we heard about.
Yeah.
The texture is the physical manifestation of the longevity promise.
It all connects. It's a synergistic relationship. The musky flavor lingers because the flake itself lingers.
If it dissolved, the taste would be gone in a second.
But because the chew is so enduring, the whole sensory experience is drawn out. It maximizes your time with that pure, pungent flavor. It all comes back to the core.
Okay, so moving beyond the actual eating experience, we had to talk about the value add, the thing that really cemented this brand in their memory.
The in-box surprises.
The curios, as they call them. Limpy just comes right out and says that Dan Druff's Flaky Flakes had the best in-box surprises every single time.
Which immediately turns it from just breakfast into an experience. The box becomes a treasure chest.
Yeah, and the daily routine of breakfast becomes an adventure, which is probably pretty important for a product with such a unique flavor profile.
It's the reward. The prize is the reward for eating these very specific flakes.
They listed off a bunch of them. The stickers, the decoder ring, the tiny plastic monsters.
Okay, hold on. The decoder ring is significant.
Why do you say that?
Because a decoder ring implies secrets. It means there's a club, there are hidden messages. You need this special tool to understand the truth.
Ah, so it's like the goofy kid on the box, he knows the secret, and the ring lets you in on it.
Exactly. It adds this little intellectual game to your morning. You're not just eating, you're problem solving.
But the stories that really stick, the ones that define the whole thing, were about two specific collections.
The Tiny Comb Collection and the Magnifying Glass series.
Let's start with the combs. Limpy's story about the combs is just, it's pure nostalgia, but it shows how these little toys actually got used.
Right. He said he completed the entire tiny plastic comb collection, had one in every color.
Which speaks to how many boxes of this stuff he ate. But the use case is what makes the story. He used one of the combs on his pet hamster,
Mr. Waffles.
Mr. Waffles. He was combing his hamster with a cereal prize.
Which is perfect. It shows how these little curios became part of the fabric of their lives. They weren't just junk you threw away. They were functional tools in their world. The breakfast adventure spilled out of the kitchen.
And then you contrast that with Saggy's story about the magnifying glass series. His interest was totally different.
Yeah, it was intellectual. He said, I was more into the miniature magnifying glass series. He wasn't combing pets. He was doing science.
And what was the first thing he investigated with his new scientific tool?
The cereal itself.
Exactly. He used the magnifying glasses for examining the individual pieces of Dan Druff's Flaky Flakes. He was exploring the cellular depths of those chewy flakes.
The brand created this brilliant meta experience. The prize in the box is a tool to better appreciate the product in the box.
It reinforces the idea that the flakes are so unique, so structurally sound, so pure, that they actually deserve to be examined up close.
It's this powerful subconscious validation of the 100% pure promise. Because you can see it. It has a natural, observable structure.
They were both in total agreement about the big picture. This wasn't just a cereal. It was, in their words, a whole adventure.
Psaki really summed it up. He called it a tradition, a pillar of our childhood.
And here's the crucial point. The thing that allows this loyalty to exist today. It's not just a memory. The product hasn't disappeared.
Right. This is so important. Limpy confirms it's still available, and crucially, it's unchanged.
His exact words were, Dan Druff's Flaky Flakes are still sold today in that same yellow box with that same goofy kid on the front and those exact flakes we've been eating since we were kids.
That is the engine of loyalty, that unwavering consistency. You can buy a box today and get the exact same unique, musky, chewy experience you had 30 years ago.
It connects your present right back to your childhood adventure. And that connection fuels the deep, almost religious dedication we're about to hear about from their listeners.
Okay, so before we get to the callers, let's just touch on that final ad they played, because it supports this whole idea of legacy.
It really does. The brand knows that consistency creates legacy.
The ad shifts from talking about the product to talking about emotion. It says, when you open a box, you aren't just opening breakfast, you're opening a legacy.
It's some pretty sophisticated language.
Yeah.
It's suggesting that eating this cereal is like participating in history. You're part of the secret club, continuing the tradition.
And it reminds you that the legacy is built on integrity. It's guaranteed to be 100% pure, and then it brings it back to that sensory signature.
Right, the staying power.
Yeah.
It's that earthy, musky presence that stays with you from sunrise to sunset.
The brand is demanding a full-day commitment from you. You don't just eat the flakes. You carry the atmosphere of the flakes with you all day long.
And now we see how that translates into real-world dedication. Let's get to the callers.
This is where it gets really fascinating. The first caller, Quibi, shows how deeply this product gets integrated into daily life.
Quibi tells them, I eat a big bowl of Dan Druff's Flaky Flakes every single morning with my dog, Corky. He absolutely loves eating them too.
Which is just, it's such a powerful little story. It's not just a habit for Quibi, it's a shared family ritual.
And it includes the dog.
It includes the dog, Corky. The fact that a dog whose palate is probably more attuned to, natural, non-artificial flavors.
Right.
The fact that the dog loves them too says a lot about that unique, potent, musky flavor.
It's an unusual way of underscoring the purity claim. Yeah. There's nothing artificial in it. Maybe it has this universal cross-species appeal.
It turns a simple breakfast into this moment of communion.
Okay, then the next caller, Miles. He was all about the texture.
He was. Miles said, everyone talks about crunch in other cereals, but I love how Dan Druff's Flaky Flakes have that immediate, delightful chew.
But then, Miles gives us the ultimate descriptor for that chew. He takes it a step beyond the ad copy. He calls it musky bubblegum.
Musky bubblegum. We need to just pause on that. That might be the most profound statement in the whole transcript.
It's perfect, isn't it? Bubblegum is all about a sustained chew and often a sustained flavor.
So by calling it musky bubblegum, he's confirming both things, the enduring, satisfying texture and the incredible ability of the flake to just keep releasing that signature musky flavor as you chew.
It perfectly combines the two defining traits, the musky flavor and the bubblegum texture. And his final thought on it is just absolute. I could chew on Dan Druff's Flaky Flakes all day long.
That's not an exaggeration for him. It's a statement of total preference.
And then we get to Druff.
The ultimate devotee.
Absolutely. Druff transcends daily eating and enters the realm of, material worship.
Yeah.
He says he's been eating it forever, so he's a lifer.
But it's his collection. That's the thing. His collection of curios required architectural changes to his house.
He has a special room, a dedicated room in his house, just for his thousands of Dan Druff's Flaky Flakes curios.
This isn't just a shoebox in a closet. This is an institutional level of commitment. Thousands of curios means. I can't even imagine how many boxes that is. Yeah. A lifetime of boxes.
And at the center of this room, this collection, is a shrine. Druff maintains a central shrine dedicated entirely to Dan Druff's Flaky Flakes.
A shrine that elevates this from a breakfast cereal to an object of genuine veneration.
A place of reverence, of memory. For Druff, the product and those little toys, the combs, the magnifying glasses, they represent a whole lifetime of consistency and happy memories.
Creating a shrine is the ultimate acknowledgement of the brand's power and its legacy in his life.
And Limpy's comment about that room is so telling and just honestly hilarious. He says the room must have a very strong atmosphere with all that 100% pure history in one place.
You can just imagine it. That very strong atmosphere is probably, yes, the physical presence of all that old plastic and cardboard.
But
mostly the persistent, pervasive, musky aroma of decades, of 100% pure history, all stored in one place. That scent doesn't just last a day. It lasts for decades. It permeates the collection itself.
And ultimately, the thread connecting all of them, Saggy, Limpy, Quibby, Miles, Durf, it's the brand's refusal to change. They haven't changed a single thing.
The loyalty is a direct result of that unwavering consistency. You get the same unique experience every single time. The sources just provide this perfect circular argument for why it's so successful.
It's gluten-free, it's 100% pure, has the ultimate gummy chew, and it's a stay-with-you breakfast.
The dedication of someone like Druff is the logical conclusion when a product never, ever compromises its unique identity.
So let's do a quick recap of the key takeaways for you, the learner, because this whole thing is really defined by specifics and by paradox.
Right. We basically identified 4 key elements that make Dan Druff's Flaky Flakes this cultural pillar.
First, that guaranteed 100% pure composition. It's the foundation of trust. No artificial fillers, no unnecessary stuff.
Second, the really distinctive and totally intentional musky scent and flavor. It's pungent, it's robust, and it's famously compared to a locker room.
But in a good way.
But in a good way, suggesting this raw, natural energy.
Third, that unique gummy chew that just rejects the whole idea of cereal crunch. It's the physical delivery system for the longevity promise, and fans call it musky bubblegum.
And fourth, its role as a cultural tradition. Solidified by that consistent quality and the high-value curios, the combs, the magnifying glasses that turn breakfast into a whole adventure.
What really stands out to me, the central tension, is how a product can be 100% pure, and yet so incredibly intense, so pungent that it fills a house and permeates a shrine room decades later.
Which brings us to our final thought for you to think about. Given all the emphasis on the intense musky aroma, the robust flavor, the fact that this is a stay-with-you presence that lasts from sunrise to sunset, what does purity really mean here?
Is purity just about the lack of artificial ingredients, that minimalist definition? Or, as this brand's success seems to suggest, is purity actually defined by the sheer, unadulterated intensity of its natural character?
It raises the question, can a product that is designed to be so present, so enduring, still be pure in that delicate sense of the word? Or does purity, in this case, just mean uncompromised strength?
It's something to chew on.
Preferably with a nice, enduring, musky texture. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Catch you on the next one.